Damon, happy Monday. Happy President's Day to you, my friend.
Right back at you there, Kurt. Did you have a good weekend?
I had an amazing weekend. And how about you?
Oh, yes. Yes.
You survived? You didn't?
Oh, yes.
Okay. You lived to
Lots
tell
of
about
festivities this weekend.
Lots of festivities. Well, hey, talk about festivities, man. Do we have a wonderful, amazing, incredible guest here today or what? Are you ready? Did you get some sleep last night? Are you ready for this
I
one?
do. Got my seatbelt on.
All right, let's dive in. So, hey, we have a repeat offender. We have our dear friend, Gina Tabasso. Gina, happy Monday. Happy President's Day to you. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Happy Monday. I'm doing well.
Hey, this is, well, what a delight. When last time you were on, you and I had so much fun and we have a ton to unpack. My goodness gracious, you were just down at the Big Easy. And so we're talking about New Orleans. We're talking about B2B marketing. So we have a ton to uncover. But you know what, Gina, last time you were on the show, there was a question that I'm dying to ask you. And I don't think I asked you last time. So we're going to hit it up right off. I'm coming right at you right off the bat with a fastball. You ready?
I hope I have an answer.
You ready for this one? Okay, Damon, let's do this. You ready? All right. I'm winding up, man. I've been practicing all morning.
Yeah.
So, Gina, when you were a little girl, now you are a Clevelander. Do I have that correct? You are a Clevelander.
Yes, sir.
Through and through. Go Brownies, right? So, Gina, as you were a little girl growing up in the Buckeye State, who was your hero? Who did you look up to? Who was your hero as a little girl growing up?
That's an easy one. My grandpa, my mom's dad. He was the most gentle, kind, loving man. He was an artist and a poet.
Wow.
He taught me to read and write and took me out for ice cream into the park. And to this day, I still think he's the most wonderful man I've ever met in my life.
Wow. That is, wow. Okay. That was,
Yeah.
And what's Grandpa's name, please?
Well, we're Ukrainian, so his real Ukrainian name is Evstaky Izhinsky, but in the U.S. he went by Stanley Izinski. So Stan.
All right. Well, hey, huge shout out to Stan and happy Monday. Happy President's Day. Hey, we've got Diane Byer in the house. Happy Monday to you. Hey, we've got Nate here. Nate says, hey, University of Michigan, go Blue National Champions. Congratulations to you, Nate. And he says, hey, that's a touching story. So Nate, man, sit back. We've got a lot. As a matter of fact, speaking of Ukrainian, you just shared with us that you had a little wonderful celebration at your church yesterday. Sounds like you're doing some volunteer work. Do you want to share a little bit what's going on with your volunteering?
Oh, yeah, sure. The church where I live, I do some volunteer work there. I'm on the employment ministry, so I work with people who are in job transition. And we also help with Catholic Charities taking in refugees, finding them homes, jobs, furnishing their houses. And because I'm 80% Ukrainian, my mom's 100%.
Nice.
I work with the Ukrainian families, and yesterday was an appreciation dinner just to thank all of the volunteers.
Well, that is absolutely wonderful. And Diane says, go Grandpa. How about what characteristic do you feel is in you, Gina, that really represents Stan? Like do you ever think like, hey, what would Stan do in this situation? Or like if Stan is just beaming on his little granddaughter, what characteristic do you think that you carry on from Stan?
It's definitely the artistic side. He's the one that made me, I think, the writer that I am. And so it's that creativity.
Awesome. Well, hey, I love that story. Hey, we've got a friend coming to us from the manufacturing Twitter group coming across the pond, Damon.
Across the pond. Nigel.
Nigel's
hey,
here
man.
today. Nigel, happy Monday, my friend.
Great seeing you today.
I know we're here at lunchtime where I'm at. Damon's just getting breakfast started, and Nigel's winding he's at dinner right now. So
yeah, he's just
Nigel, happy Monday too. So Gina, let's dive in. You've had a long, wonderful history. I believe you've got bachelor's degree from Kent State. You have your master's from Cleveland State, just all sorts of wonderful academia. You chose to bring your superpowers, your passion into the world of manufacturing. What inspired you to take that path? Why manufacturing?
My first job out of college, I wanted to be a copywriter in an advertising agency, one of these glamorous agencies, maybe one day live in London. And when I was interviewing for my first job, I found that agencies didn't pay anything. There was a manufacturing company that wanted to hire me as an in-house copywriter, and they paid way more than agency side. So I ended up going client side. And so my first job was with a manufacturer. He owned a number of companies, and one of them manufactured vibrational analysis equipment for large rotating machinery. And the other company was a government contractor that manufactured life support systems for Space Station Freedom.
Right.
Wow.
And that's when it all started, and I never looked back.
You never look back. So, guys, we're here with Gina Tabasso, and strongly encourage you, invite you, welcome you, connect with Gina on LinkedIn. She puts out just wonderful, incredible content. And I noticed on your profile, Gina, I'm good. Like, there's, the list of things that you've done: robotic vision systems, industrial ovens, stainless steel fittings. You've been in financial services, IT, higher ed, circuit board assembly, precision machine plastics. I mean, like, all sorts of different things.
Wow.
How do you keep walk us through like a little bit of your journey and your path of like going into like such a diverse crew of manufactured products? So could you dig a little deep into that for us?
Honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with my original background as a journalist. And I tell people that being a journalist, you are a detective, you're a researcher, and you also, as an English major, I have an aptitude for language. And learning a new industry is just learning a new vocabulary. So if you have an aptitude for learning, it's easy to make those transitions. So a lot of those I worked in-house at companies that were manufacturers. Some of them were clients. I worked as a consultant to manufacturers and had a variety of clients in all kinds of different industries. So that's how I got all that experience.
Well, I absolutely love it. And a couple more comments here. Hey, Nigel, I got Nigel here across the pond. He says, hey, I just wrapped up dinner to join us. Nigel, thank you. That means a ton. We deeply appreciate you being here. Nate drops a note. Gina's background is sweet. Absolutely love it. It's like an ingredient skills list to build a great robot. So Timothy, thank you for joining us. Guys, drop us a note. Let us know that you're out there. Let us know where you're coming from. We'd love to hear from you. And bring the questions for Gina, man. She is a B2B marketing guru, an expert, if you will. And she has started a new B2B marketing firm called Barracuda B2B Marketing. And we're going to be diving into this. So, Gina, you kick off, you bring your superpowers into manufacturing. You just found like your calling, your passion. Last time we talked, you were with the MEPs, so you're very familiar with the manufacturing extension partnerships. Let's go here. What inspired you to fly your own flag? You are now an entrepreneur. Welcome to the brotherhood and sisterhood of entrepreneurship. Talk a little bit about that transition for you launching your own firm.
Well, I'm blessed to have the best of both worlds. I have a full-time job as the director of marketing and business development for a manufacturing company.
Nice.
Vacavia Cottages and Cabins. We manufacture park model homes, which are basically tiny homes, cottages, and cabins that meet a certain standard that qualifies them as a recreational vehicle. And my boss is a friend. I worked for him many years ago for 3 years, and then for about 8 years, we stayed friends. He asked me last year to join his company. And in transparency, he told me he wanted to quintuple revenue and then sell the company in 3 to 5 years.
Nice.
So he was really the catalyst behind me starting my own consulting business, so that when my full-time job ends, I can transition to full-time with my consulting work. And so I formed the LLC last year in September. I signed my first client in October, and I have proposals out with 2 other manufacturers right now.
Nice. Well, congratulations. We're just absolutely thrilled. So if you're a manufacturer out there, you're looking for some B2B marketing expertise, Gina is your person. So Gina, our topic today is we want to dive into marketing must-haves for manufacturers. Marketing must-haves for manufacturers. Let's dive right in. Let's go into some tips, strategies. What are some of the must-haves that you feel that manufacturers need right away?
Okay. Well, first, I want to qualify myself, I guess. There's a lot of B2B marketers out there. There's a lot of B2B marketers that specialize in manufacturing.
Right.
But my unique differentiator is, that I've worked in-house with a lot of manufacturers. But also, years ago, I was the managing editor of American Machinist Welding Design and Fabrication and Gases and Welding Distributor. So I really get milling, drilling, boring, lathing tolerances, all the equipment, like CNCs and CMMCs and EDMs and RAMs,
Yeah.
cobots, robots. I also was welding certified from Lincoln Electric. And then I've had for many years, I've had a Lean Six Sigma yellow belt. Last year I earned my green belt, and I'm in the process of getting my black belt right now. I've done about
Amazing.
Six Sigma projects for manufacturers. You can tell my passion is for manufacturing.
Yeah.
People have said, why don't you go out as a Six Sigma consultant? Because you can make a lot more money. And I said, because that's not my passion. My passion is marketing for manufacturers and applying a Six Sigma lean methodology to it, to look at having a process in place and continuous improvement. And if you're going to apply that on the shop floor, why would you not apply that to your sales and marketing process? So it's that sensibility that informs every decision I make and my strategy. So to answer your question, Kurt, my first answer that I give to manufacturers is, first, why do I need marketing? A lot of manufacturers don't see the value of marketing. They perceive it as a cost center, not a revenue generator. And they don't see it as an investment. But for marketing to be successful, it has to be trackable. You can show a return on investment if you do it properly. The other thing I've found is a lot of manufacturers, the small to mid-sized manufacturers, it's really an industry standard that 5 to 10% of revenue is spent on your marketing budget. Even 3 to 5% of revenue will move the dial and create results. But a lot of manufacturers aren't even spending 0.5% of revenue. And then they're wondering why their marketing program is failing. So that to make that investment, to do it right, and doing it right requires a strategy. You wouldn't go to the end of your process and just build the machine. You have to put a process in place. The same thing. A lot of times manufacturers want to go straight to lead generation. Bring me in leads, I need to make sales. But they don't start with the foundation of the house, and then the whole house falls down. Look at your website, look at your content, look at your SEO, look at your keywords. Are you ranking organically? So there's a process before you get to lead generation. And it's not going to work if you don't do it sequentially. Again, Lean Six Sigma, it helps because you can call people out and say, this isn't good manufacturing. We're doing a lot of rework here.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's dive into that for a little bit right there, Gina, because like you just dropped some golden nuggets. And hey, we've got a couple more comments. So let's see what Nigel has to say here. Gina, it is rare to find a business founder who has thought about their exit strategy. It makes the work of the business development team much more focused. Damon singing your song, right?
Yeah. I can tell you, Gina, that the person you're working for in that full-time position now, they've thought about a lot more than 99% of the people that get into business.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So very blessed. All right. So several things I want to pack right there. And hey, we've got Catherine from Brazil. So Catherine, greetings to you. Happy Monday, our friend. We appreciate you stopping by. Again, guys, drop a note in the chat box. Let us give us a hello. Give Gina a big hello. And if you have questions, boy, you're just getting a little sliver of what we're going to be diving into. And Gina, what I absolutely love is, for that manufacturer out there that first off says, hey, why do I need marketing? I love your pragmatic approach on like, you can really speak for that particular manufacturer, the owner who maybe doesn't, not so much on that creative side, or like, hey, doesn't view the dollars as an investment, more of an expense, as you're saying. I love your approach of like, hey, we're going to get into this. We're going to be strategic. We're going to be methodical. I'm bringing my green belt to this, pretty soon my black belt. Talk a little bit about for that manufacturer. Let's talk to that manufacturer that thinks that marketing is a waste of time. Why don't you dive into that for a little bit? What are some steps that you can help that person convert to being a fan?
Sure. Well, the other thing that I try to focus on is the sales team. So a lot of times sales and marketing are working in isolation and silos when they really need to be working in lockstep. And the sales team does have a different focus. Sales is usually focused on that bottom of funnel. So when you have that marketing funnel, top, middle, bottom, top is bringing in leads, nurturing them, educating them, moving them through the funnel to get them qualified to where you can sell to them. Well, when you're totally focused on bottom of funnel, eventually that small pool runs out. You tap out. So you've constantly got to be bringing people into that funnel.
Right.
So the way that I recommend you do that is start with a strategy.
Mhm.
Don't throw money at a wall and hope it sticks. A lot of times people approach marketing very scattershot, or they go to the end of the process and they start with lead generation and they haven't done what they need to do to scale up. Just like anything, you need to scale up. It's a process.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of manufacturers don't have a marketing department, can't afford an agency, may have a junior employee who isn't strategic and needs support. And so I love what you said, Kurt, about me being a pragmatist, because I am very pragmatic. And another leader in the industry that I really respect told me, you're a realist, Gina. You just get at it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I do. I try to be incisive and give people what they need without all the fluff.
Right.
So there needs to be an organized, methodical, cumulative effort. And a lot of organizations who haven't done marketing try to run before they walk. So I tell them to step back and do a strategy. So where do we start with a strategy? You need someone who's an expert in marketing strategy. Second, you need a CRM. And a lot of times manufacturers are still using an Excel spreadsheet as their CRM. So sales and marketing got to talk. Yeah. Legal pad.
That's right.
And, it's like that isn't going to inform marketing. It isn't going to track ROI. It isn't going to track your customer journey. It isn't going to track that conversion point. So that's how you get the data to show a return on investment, whether your marketing program is working or not, by using your CRM and marketing automation solution. So then after that, I would create a strategy, a 1-year annual strategy. The next step, I always focus on the website. You don't want to drive traffic to a website that's a piece of garbage that's going to break. You want a website where you're going to capture leads, where people aren't going to bounce off your website, where you're giving them information they need that's of value, where you're actually going to be able to capture them. Think about yourself as your own consumer journey. Are you willing to give your name and email address for nothing? Usually it's something valuable, like, oh, I want that white paper, or I need these tips and tricks, or I want to learn about that. And when you serve them up with something they want and need, they're willing to exchange their information for that.
Yep. That is so important. So important. And manufacturers, they have so many different things that they can write about, or just with someone like yours help, Gina, they can tell you about things and you can create a very nice piece of information that will help their customers and start that engine flipping.
Well, one of the reasons I really focus initially on content is because of organic search.
Yeah.
Search engine optimization. So this is another trick I've learned. Working for all these small to mid-sized manufacturers who don't have big marketing budgets, I, as a marketer, have had to figure out, how do I get the most bang for no buck? And pay-per-click and advertising is expensive. So I've always focused, my expertise is really on organic. So how do we drive traffic to our website with little to no cost? So you have to get your website to rank with Google, to rank in index. And there's so many ways to do that. Getting backlinks from other websites that have higher domain authorities, getting backlinks from media, from giving contributed content or press releases, claiming local listings, on and on. I have a list like this of everything that goes into SEO. It's not just on your website. It's not just the keywords on your front and back end of your website and like, boom, you're done. It's an ongoing process. And that usually takes about 6 to 9 months for Google to really rank and index your website. So while that's doing its thing, then you can throw some money into digital advertising to supplement that. But the digital advertising shouldn't be fully what you rely on, because you stop paying for those ads, the traffic stops coming. With organic, this traffic keeps coming if you sustain that organic.
Well, hey, we've got some great comments here, Gina. I want to pull up on stage here. So Timothy, he's coming across a pond from Amsterdam. So Timothy, again, thank you for joining us. Happy Monday. Well put, Gina, to the point. And our friend Ikosa, if I'm saying that correctly. Gina, I love your approach. And again, Timothy says, greetings. I'll grab this one. Greetings from Amsterdam. And Nigel, I'm going back a little bit. Nigel says, hey, doing some marketing, no matter how small, will make a difference. Doing a lot will make a huge difference. Nigel, excellent point. Thank you.
Now we got Miraj.
Oh, yeah. Greetings. Oh, man. So,
Uzbekistan.
Hey, got a lot of folks. So, again, guys, drop us a note. Let us know that you're out there. Give a hello. If you have questions, boy, we have a lot to unpack here with Gina. We've got Gina Tabasso from Barracuda B2B Marketing, and we would love your questions. We've got an expert on stage here to dive in. Gina, I would love for you to expand a little bit on that buyer's journey. And a couple of points that I'd like to unpack that you just dropped. You made a point about, boy, if your website, Damon, we use that word, making a great first web impression.
Yep.
If we're in person, you've got one chance to make a great first impression. With your website, you've got one chance to make that great first web impression, right? So when you're talking about that buyer's journey, so Gina, let's dive in. If that's a little bit new to somebody, I know it's like, for us marketers, maybe that's a little bit of Captain Obvious, but talk to that manufacturer who they know their widgets inside and out, but they just don't really think about that buyer's journey. Can you walk through what are some challenges that you see on people's websites? What are quick, easy fixes? And let's walk through that buyer's journey and how we could help that manufacturer improve that process.
You know what? I think the best way to answer that is to give you a real world example and tell you a story of a client I worked with.
Yeah.
So I had a client probably a year and a half ago. They're a precision plastic machining company. Mm-hmm. They hired me to do a 12-year lead generation campaign for them. But when I got in there, again, they didn't have the infrastructure in place, did not have the tech stack. So we went in, we had to update their website to create the best user experience, add new content, optimize it with keywords. They hadn't identified keywords from their industry that they wanted to rank for in a Google search. So we had to optimize the front end and the back end, so of course that took a little bit. Creating the strategy took a little bit. Then we had to get them up and running on a CRM and marketing automation platform. They weren't using anything. So we went with the free version of HubSpot. To this day, they are still using the free version of HubSpot. That was adequate for their customer base.
Perfect.
So then we started doing some email marketing and some campaigns and started to generate some leads. Then after that was about 6 months to get to that point. Then we started turning toward a pay-per-click campaign. Unfortunately, it was not incredibly successful because when I signed the contract, the understanding was that we were going to do a minimum $1,500 a month spend on a pay-per-click campaign. If you spend any less than that each month, you're not going to get anything. You're wasting your money.
Yeah.
Well, when we got to that point, they only authorized $500 a month spend, which is not going to move the dial.
Yeah.
So we still did generate leads. The leads came in. They did get a conversion immediately. They got a sale.
Nice.
And so we're at the end of this first year of marketing. And the owner said, I'm unhappy with this because we paid you, I'll make up a number, make something easy. It wasn't this much. It wasn't. $3
million.
Let's say $100,000. We paid you $100,000. And in that sale, we only got $110,000. Right. So you were a failure because in a year, you only made us $10,000. Right. I said, wait a minute, back out. Number one, if in your first year of a foundational marketing program, when you've done no marketing before, if it pays for itself and you got that year of marketing for free, you're ahead of the game.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Plus, you told me when I first met you that your sales cycle was 1.5 years.
Right.
So you're just bringing leads into that. We go back, Kurt, to your question, that top of funnel.
Yeah.
You're bringing in leads up here, don't know you, don't know what you do, don't know your product, don't have a relationship with you.
Right.
And you've got to nurture them through that
Yeah.
cycle and educate them and convince them and build a rapport and trust with them to the point where they get ready to make that purchase. So you're not going to see a result of what I've done this year
Yeah.
for possibly a year or a year and a half, because that's your sales cycle.
It's your sales cycle. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we really, that's why marketing and sales really need to work together in lockstep. And
Yeah.
and I tell people, a marketing strategy is a long game. It's a long game. You don't do it 1 year and expect results.
Yeah.
It's cumulative. It builds upon
Mhm.
itself and it grows like anything else.
That's the thing that I think we've got a terribly long sales cycle in my business, right? I might talk to a business owner and 3 years later they may decide to come and talk to us.
Right.
We've had people as long as 11 years, right?
Right.
That have taken to talk to us.
Right.
Wow.
So what you really have to get comfortable with as a manufacturer in this is, like you said, I used to be in injection molding, selling to big companies.
Yeah.
It would take us 2 years to get anything coming out of a big company, usually maybe a year if you were lucky.
Right.
And so, this marketing doesn't make things, like you said, it just drops it into the top of the funnel and you've got to keep working to get it to the other side of that. So you getting one sale out of that is huge.
And we really were only marketing for 3 months, because
and
it took 6 months to get the website built, the CRM built. So I thought we succeeded.
And then as you go, your things like your email marketing get more effective, because now we have more people that want our email campaign, or want our email content, that want our content, and that just continues to grow. And then you're building that CRM functionality into it, so that's helping people more in your resource centers. It's just, the stuff builds. That's all I can say. Is it's awesome what you're doing there.
Yeah, it builds on it. And I think the big takeaway right there, Gina, to think about is, number one is I know it's not a good word in entrepreneurship, is patience, right? Nobody
nobody wants to be patient.
Strike me dead for that one, right? So who wants to be patient? But like you said, it is the long game. It's a long-term investment. And the big thing is, what's the lifetime value of that customer? If you landed $100,000 order, was that $100,000 a year? Are you going to see that every year, or what does that look like? So I think it's an individual question that has to be asked. But I absolutely love this. Diane says, "Hey, we call it the pipeline." Thank you, Diane. I absolutely love that. All right, we've got a big question. Are you ready, Gina?
Yeah, I see it there.
Pull it up. We got a big one. And hey, Nate says it's an interactive process, so iterative process. So hey, thank you for stopping by. We've got Nagrani, if I'm saying that correctly, Damon. How long should BDM ideally take to get the lead covered by prospective customers who are prepared to make an investment in the product that the business will sell? This is not very well organized with any marketing strategy. Is it possible to get sales done in 1 month? My friend Gina, what do you think of that question?
Okay, well, how I would come at that question is, first, I would say it's really unique to every industry and every company. So even in manufacturing, you could have the precision plastic machining person and the laminate flooring person and the circuit board manufacturer. Each one of those has a different sales cycle, a different type of customer and prospect. So I always have to really, when I go in, I do a lot of industry research and market research and even company research. And I look at all of that when I go in and do an assessment. I do business development for my current company. I'm the director of marketing and business development.
Yep.
And so she asked the specific question, though, about what I noticed was, she said, when they are prepared to make an investment in the product. The question is finding those people who are prepared, because a lot of times when you're doing marketing, you're bringing in leads, but you're not sure where they are in the buyer process. Is it someone with interest, someone who doesn't know anything? So the way I address that question, yes, I think you probably, our sales cycle is probably 6 to 8 weeks. So if I bring in someone who's even qualified, like ready to buy, they usually aren't going to buy in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
They need to trust you. If they've never worked with you before, there's conversations, there's quotes, there's pushing the paper back and forth. But the way I've found very creative ways, I'm very creative, to find those people who are ready to make an investment. One way is, like right now for my current company, I'm doing IP address targeting. So we go to a lot of trade shows. Most of the people at those trade shows are interested in that product. There are trade shows we can't go to because there's a conflict where 2 of them are happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody who's attending an RV trade show is probably interested in buying an RV or considering it.
Right.
So I'm pulling all the IP addresses of everyone that was at that specific location at that time and serving them up ads on their cell phones, their smart TVs, their tablets, their laptops, because I know they were at that show. Another thing I'm doing right now is, this is kind of top secret, but I'll share it. This is some free consulting, which I try not to do.
All right. Hey, we have a
There we
pact
go.
here, Damon. So everybody out there, so this is just between us, right?
Yeah.
This is just
Yeah.
the friends and family secret sauce, Gina. Here we go.
This is something I stumbled upon last year, and now it's very specific to the type of industry again. It's
Right.
probably easier to do with a software company than it is to do with a manufacturing company. But what I did is I had my team, I paid them to scrape data. And I said, I want you to go out on Google and Facebook and Better Business Bureau and all these review platforms and look up all of our competitors and look at the 1-star and 2-star reviews, and then try to find them on LinkedIn and find their contact information. So a good example, here's a really good example. You are a seller of HubSpot, and you go to HubSpot's Google reviews and you find all the 1 and 2 stars. I have HubSpot. I hate it. It doesn't work. It doesn't do this. It's too expensive. The customer support's terrible. Da, 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 da. And I'm a provider of CRM software like ClickDimensions Power Pack. You know those people use your product. You know they're unhappy with your competitor. If you can find them, go get them. They are ready to buy. They're ready to
That's
ship.
awesome.
So it's about, that's why I'm a marketing strategist. Like I think of things outside the box that like other people don't think of.
And
AI, I'm using a lot of AI now, not to generate content, I'm not having AI write for me, but AI can help so much with marketing right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, all right, drop the mic, Damon. That was absolutely brilliant. So, guys, if you're just joining us, hey, I want to pull up a couple more comments. So, again, here's Timothy. How true entrepreneurship takes patience, but those who don't give up will be victorious. Speaking of victorious, hey, we've got Brian Fleming in the house. He says,
Hey, Brian.
Go to national champs in Ann Arbor. And so he says, that's a great tip. Big bag. I'm going to say big bang right there. So, all right. Gina, that was absolutely brilliant. I love that. So we're talking, guys, again, connect with Gina here on LinkedIn. We strongly encourage you, invite you, let us know where you're coming from. If you have any questions for Gina, you're just getting a little taste of like some of these awesome ideas. We're talking about marketing must-haves. Gina, you've talked about, make sure your website is speaking the right language to that right buyer. You've talked about the CRM. You've talked about email marketing, and a couple words that you used earlier that I love, Damon. She used the T word, trust.
Yep.
And educate. Gina, let's go on. That is one of my all-time favorite words for marketing is educate. How about, let's go there for a little bit. Talk a little bit about how we can be fierce educators or like some of the strategies that you use for the companies that you're working with, and how do you help them educate their customers through that buyer's journey?
Yeah. So top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. I talk about it all the time. And actually, when I create marketing strategies for manufacturers, I did one for my current company. It's a PowerPoint presentation that's about 45 slides long. And I go through, sorry, I'm starting to lose my voice here.
That's okay.
I go through and look at so much, like where I'm going to pull one up just so I can actually go through my slides. So I'll go through all the marketing channels, the marketing mix, annual marketing goals, quarterly timeline, unique selling points. I do a SWOT analysis. So I look at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I do a market size analysis. I look at market growth over the past number of years. I do a competitive analysis. I do a target market analysis. I create buyer personas for all their customers. I do market segmentation. And then I do get to the marketing funnel, which I'll get back to.
Yep.
I do a communication strategy, a comprehensive marketing calendar, a marketing budget, and a tech stack. So that's what's involved in a marketing strategy that I do for a client.
Yeah.
So one of the slides in that presentation is marketing funnel. And I look at what is the stage and what is the content requirement. Again, that can vary by industry. Not every manufacturer or company is going to have the same kinds of content requirements at that stage in the funnel. Like B2C and consumer is very different than B2B.
Sure.
So, but that top of funnel is the awareness. So industry information, tips, checklists, an infographic, photos, a podcast, a newsletter,
Yep.
research, trade shows, white papers, social media, just creating awareness about your product or your industry.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next stage in the funnel is consideration, where you're getting them to consider it. You make them aware of it, but now you want them to think about it.
Mhm.
And that's usually where you introduce your product and you allow them to evaluate it through content. So that can also be case studies, white papers, drip campaigns, newsletters, an ebook, a webinar, a class, a quiz, a survey.
Yeah.
Then you get to that conversion point, this middle of funnel,
Yeah.
where you start to bring in the sales focus, maybe a free trial, a demo, give them a reason to buy, testimonials from happy customers, spec sheets. So it's more specific data. And then once you convert them, you don't forget about them. It's not like, okay, got them as a marketing qualified lead, turned them over to a sales qualified lead, sold them, we're done, move on to the next person. You want to then create loyalty and advocacy. You want them to be loyal to you and your brand. So you want to continue to engage and delight them, give them a reason to stay, give them a reason to come back. Then you want them to not only do that, but be an advocate for your company and go out and tell other people, give you reviews, give you referrals. You want them to spread it through word of mouth and reviews. That's my Six Sigma project this year for my current company. We do not do any customer satisfaction surveys or anything like that. So I want to implement a net promoter score survey. And anybody who gives us an 8 or above on that survey, I want to ask for a review from them because they're a satisfied customer. Anybody with a 7 or lower, I want my sales team to reach out to them to see how can we grow, what can we do better, where did we fail you, how can we save this relationship. So that's my funnel.
Gina, we're just going to take a moment of silence right there. We're just going to take a moment of silence. That was just
my brain explodes every day. There's too much knocking around up here.
that was
awesome.
That was a masterclass right there. So, all right, multiple mic drops right there. And hey, we've got one more comment here. Majolo, am I saying that correct? In short, find people who hate competitors with AI and data scraping. I absolutely, that was just
that's an awesome strategy. I mean, because when you're talking about manufacturers, usually they don't, and Kurt and I talk about this a lot, they don't want 100 new customers. If they got 5 or 6 new customers, it's a huge thing. If they got 3, a lot of times, sometimes it is like Kurt said, 1.
Yeah, sometimes
in manufacturing, it's a little harder because a lot of manufacturers don't have a Google My Business.
Yeah.
They don't get Google reviews. They don't have a Facebook page. They're not getting Facebook reviews.
Right.
So finding those people is a little harder. That's why I said it's a little easier for other industries. Like I have a friend in software. He does SaaS software and he used G2 to find bad reviews for his competitors. And he's hitting them and he's getting sale after sale. So it really depends on the industry and the product.
Absolutely. Absolutely brilliant. So, all right, and I don't want to that was the secret sauce for the boy, guys. Take
Yeah,
that
that
tip
one,
and,
that's
you know,
huge.
man, thank Gina for, and hey, how about send Gina, like, you know, a holiday card or something. If you close
Yeah.
any sales because of that little tip, man, send Gina like a little Starbucks card or something. That was awesome. Hey, Timothy over in Amsterdam says, wonderful. Brian, our friend in Michigan, says a lot of manufacturers 1-star reviews are upset employees. That's very true, Brian.
That's
Very, very
true,
true.
Brian.
So, all right, Gina, you gave us a masterclass, top of funnel, and then diving each step. And again, guys, if you're just joining us, hit that little rewind button, catch what Gina just said. Gina, how about, are there any tools? And maybe if I apologize if this kind of redundant question, are there tools that you personally cannot live without?
Yeah. I love WordPress. I would never build a site on anything but WordPress.
Okay.
I love CRMs, and I'm CRM agnostic. I mean, I've used Zoho, I've used HubSpot, Exact Target, you name it, I've used them. I've used Salesforce before. You know, just have one. Just have one.
Yeah.
I love SEMrush
Mhm.
because you can find competitors, keywords, you know, advertising spends, rankings, just everything's there. But I'll be honest with you, I've used a lot of free tools
Yeah.
that can give you a leg up. Like you can use the free version of SEMrush or Moz, M-O-Z. And there's a few other ones out there. I use Site Checker. Like you can run a website through some of these check tools,
Right.
and it'll give you a report that tells you, it rates your site and tells you everything that's wrong with it or broken that needs to be fixed. You can really start with free. You don't have to pay for the really expensive fancy tools.
Right. It's our favorite word, right, Damon? Free.
Yep.
Any of those free tools out there? Keywords. You can use Google Keyword Planner. That one's free.
Yeah.
So, Gina, we'll start. I know, man, you're super busy and
Yeah.
you are just doing an amazing job. I'm going to be mindful of your time. We'll start winding down. I want to go back to your entrepreneurial journey, if you will, please. Okay. So for any of our friends out there, maybe they have a job, they're working for someone, and just like deep down, they're like, man, I wish I could take that leap of faith, you know, maybe financial obligations, family obligations. It's scary taking that leap and making that plunge into entrepreneurship. What was it like for you? Any tips, advice for any friends out there that might be considering entrepreneurship and just want to take that plunge? What advice do you have?
I adore you. You ask the best questions. I am so glad you asked this question. I will tell you truly from the bottom of my heart. My entire life, people have encouraged me to go out as a consultant.
Right.
When do they encourage you to do that? Usually when you lost your job. That's not the time to do it. I was like, wait, I need money. I need an income. I need medical benefits. I can't build a business right now. So I was scared. I'm not a risk taker. I am a calculated risk taker. I like a paycheck every 2 weeks. I like paid time off. I like knowing that paycheck's coming. And so I plodded along and sold my soul and did the thing we do and took abuse and toxic environments. And then this summer, when I actually lost my job, they eliminated my position a few weeks before I was having a major colorectal surgery that was going to be like a 16-week recovery time. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't get a job. I'm not going to have an income. I have $13,000 of medical bills. And my current boss hired me because he was a former boss and he needed me. He said, I cried when he hired me. He said, listen, as much as I love you, I didn't do this out of the kindness of my heart. This was a business decision. But he's the one who encouraged me to go out on my own. And he gives me the freedom during the day to do things like this, to meet with a client. So that kind of relationship allowed me to take this leap of faith and this risk. But anybody out there planning to do it, the best things I could tell you that helped me: SCORE, SCORE, free mentors, free business coaches. They helped me do my business plan, my financials. They were invaluable. I also worked with, what's the other organization? I wasn't prepared for this question.
SBDC.
Yes, thank you.
Small
That's
Business Development Center in
Yep.
Cleveland. So
SBDC.
Kurt knows a little
Yep.
bit about
There's
that.
an,
Knows Kurt.
there's nearly real quick, Gina. There's nearly 1,000 SBDCs. We've interviewed a lot of SBDC folks on our program. Small Business Development Center. If you've been in business for 30 years, you've been in business for 30 days. The SBDC. I'm just a huge raving advocate for the SBDC. There's 1,000 throughout the United States. It's government funded. They are completely free. They're always parked at a university. Strongly encourage you, invite you to check that out. Gina, keep it going, please.
I think that's why I didn't do it. I was so afraid because I'm great at marketing,
Mhm.
but I'm not great at all that other stuff. I've never
Yeah.
done a business plan. I've never done financials. Do I need a checking account? Do I need a credit card? Do I need an attorney? Do I need an accountant? Where do I go for this? Where do I go for that? And they just took away the fear. Like I felt like they had my back. I could do this. And literally I got my business and I work full time and I volunteer and I'm on nonprofits and it was so easy. With a little bit of work. I formed my LLC in September, got my business checking account, my business credit card, got my business cards made, have my website's being built still right now. Right now I only have a landing page. My web developer's still building it out.
Yeah.
And I signed my first client in October. And it wasn't so scary. I think the thing that still scares me is taxes. And I'm still working on some contracts right now.
Yeah.
But even then, my SCORE mentor said, go out to this website, pull the free contracts, rewrite the contracts for your business. Let me look at them. I have written thousands of contracts in my lifetime. I'm not an attorney. You still should have an attorney look it over. But you don't have to spend hours with the attorney writing the contract. I will get you to the stage where it's a 15-minute appointment with the attorney to just look it over.
Yeah.
So I can't speak highly enough of them.
And that's the real thing. They can help take those, the big hurdles away in the beginning, and then they can get you to the right people to get the last bit of help you need.
Absolutely. Our friend Diane Byer. Diane, happy Monday to you, our friend down in Philadelphia. SBDC is a manufacturer. Know your SBDC and your MEP. Brian in Michigan says profits over paychecks. And Brian knows he and his sons are just crushing it with their business. And hey, Nate drops a nice note. Nate, thank you. I appreciate that. Kurt should be a Socratic. How do you say that?
Socratic
discussion leader. Great question. So thank you, brother. I appreciate you, dude. Diane says taxes scare everyone but accountants.
Yeah.
So you're not alone on that one. So, and then Timothy says, how true. So guys, we're going to start winding down. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the questions. And again, we'll be here for another minute, but Gina, let's start taking it home. First off, I want to encourage everybody to connect with you on LinkedIn. Is there any other place that you're hanging out that folks can find you?
I am on Twitter. I do a weekly Twitter chat for manufacturers. I actually just ran the last Twitter chat on Lean Six Sigma.
Nice.
And so you can find me on Twitter at Barracuda B2B, or my personal handle is G Tabasso. I'm more active on my personal, because I sometimes do Twitter work for like clients and stuff, so I can't be promoting my Barracuda business all the time.
Yep.
And yeah, LinkedIn is probably the best place. My website, my landing page right now is up. It's barracudab2b.com. And if somebody needs a marketing consult, right now I offer a free 30-minute marketing consultation.
Excellent. Well, man, you just gave us a whole master class, and one thing I want to close out with is you on your LinkedIn profile, you talk about like marketing with authenticity, purpose-driven content. And you really you are one of the most authentic individuals I've met, and we've become dear friends. Your second time on the show, and I just want to thank you for coming on. So let's do this. Number one, I want to thank everybody that took time in the chat box, drop a note, drop a question. Thank you for your support. It means the world to us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane and Nate, Timothy, everybody, Nigel coming across the pond, everybody in the program here. Nagarani, if I said that correctly, I hope I said your name. By the way, she said thank you to you, Gina. You answered her question earlier. So I want to thank the audience. Thank you guys for joining us week in and week out. But how about if you guys have been sitting down and hanging out and just really enjoying this marketing masterclass, how about we stand up and give a huge round of applause for
Definitely.
Gina Tabasso from Barracuda B2B Marketing.
Thank you,
And
Gina.
for just
Thank
sharing her
you.
brilliance, her
Awesome stuff.
passion, her expertise. And Nigel says, thank you, Damon and Kurt and Gina,
Thanks,
for an
Nigel.
insightful, informative presentation. That was a lot to unpack, as always. That
And
was a lot to unpack. And boy, I'll tell you, I don't know if that was about 10, 15 minutes ago. Guys, you might want to replay that a couple
Yes.
times.
Go
I know
back.
I'm going to go back through. She shared, Gina shared a real powerful trip.
Yeah.
Go back and check out your competitors on Google Business Profile.
Oh, that's awesome.
And look for negative reviews. Those are opportunities. She shared about how important it is to have a great website presence, content. And boy, we're getting some more comments here. Brian says, great job. Thank you. Diane says,
Hi,
make it a
Diane.
great week.
Thank you.
So,
thanks for
Gina,
coming, everybody.
as we close out, let's take everybody home. How about any words of thoughts, words of wisdom, any thoughts that you want to share with everybody as we close out today?
I'm presenting today, but I'm always humble because I learn from everybody. And Kurt, you crack me up because I'm like, I think that's my tagline, Barracuda B2B, no bullshit. There's a mic drop. Because that's my goal in life, is authenticity. I feel, I belong to a network called the Giver Marketing Network, and you have to be a giver to belong. It's that you help people, you give, and the money will come if
Yep.
you put people first. So my clients are my friends, and I also do not use up their budgets. I had a client who came to me who wanted something done. I asked what his budget was. He told me $10,000. I said, I can get it done for you for less. I got it done for him for 7,000. He's like, there's no marketer on the planet that wouldn't take that whole 10,000.
Yep.
Oh, you got a $10,000 budget? Okay, I can do it for you for 10. I don't need to rob you to support myself.
Yep.
I do what's best for you. It's a win-win. You save money, I make money. It's all good. And you know what? That customer is going to keep coming back to me.
Yeah. Gina, I tell you, what a treat you
Yeah.
are. Just your authenticity, your integrity, and just you're just such an inspiration to all of us. And just I want to tell you, thank you for joining the Entrepreneurship Club. We just are wishing you massive success. Couple comments here. Nate, for every program you want to catch, go to b2btail.com, my website. We have the replays. Damon has the replays. You can catch them on our LinkedIn profile, but we archive every program.
Yep.
Goes right on both of our websites. So check out b2btail.com, go to Exit Your Way. Timothy says, thanks. It hit the right buttons. And Negrani, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. It was the first time attending a marketing strategy based discussion, and I found it educational and enjoyable. Thank you. And we say thanks right back to you. So guys, thank you for joining us every week. And Gina, Stanley says how proud he is of you. We're proud of you. We're excited for you. And we've got some more comments. Sweet, thanks. We've got, I agree with your statement, and we send lots of love to all you guys out there. Gina, we wish you monster success. Damon, closeouts, your takeaways today?
Thanks, Gina. It was great learning from you today, and thanks everyone that's listening. And as Kurt said before, go back and rewind. There's some real golden nuggets in here you should be gleaning from this. But just thanks a lot for being here today, Gina.
Well, you're both two of my gurus, and you are both an absolute blessing to the world. So thank you for giving me the honor of spending an hour with both of you today, and with all of our wonderful attendees. I never saw so much participation, and I'm blown away. I love it, and I'm so grateful.
Cool.
Hey, join us we're here every Monday, every Friday. We've got a great another fun program lined up for next Friday.
Yep.
12:32 Eastern time, whatever time zone you're in. We'll have to do the math on that one. So Gina, hang out with us for 1 second. God bless you. God bless everybody out there, guys. And just like Damon, I like to say at the end of every program, just go out and be someone's inspiration, just like our dear friend Gina was for us today. And so, guys, have a great week. We'll see you back here on Friday.